Hopefully this works this out. But let's see what's going on. All right. I wonder if y'all can see and hear me. Type in the chat, please. So I can just make sure that I can actually see everything. So far, so good. Yeah, if y'all can hear and see me, just type in the chat. Because I'm going to try to get started shortly. Everything looks fine. Yeah, it was a bad idea to start trying to use new software in the middle of trying to do this. So I do apologize for that. Assuming y'all can hear me at least. Doesn't show anybody in on my side, so I may just be talking to myself right now. Let's see. You would think someone in the tech industry would know this stuff and not have the problems that I'm having, but hey, here we are. But y'all can hear me okay, hopefully. I haven't seen any comments yet, so I don't know if anyone's actually in or if there's a problem. Yeah, I don't like this setup or layout or anything. This is not fun right now. But hey, hopefully it works out okay. Hmm. Just checking. Okay, so I am live on YouTube. That's a plus. Can you hear me? Is the question now. Please tell me you can hear me. It's weird that it doesn't give me the option to see like the Facebook or. Okay. I mean, I guess this is gonna have to work for now. If y'all have questions, drop them in the chat. Hope and pray that I can see them. I'm really gonna be talking about the Kickstarter for Lionheart. It's set to drop this upcoming Sunday. For those of you who were unaware. This is going to be, I will say, one of the few times where I actually do a Kickstarter. I don't plan on doing Kickstarter too often. Just because I find it to be one of those things where I feel like people use Kickstarter as kind of like their crutch to make comics. So I want to do something a little different. So I plan on doing this Kickstarter, and then I'll do one more ending off next year, and that one's going to be pretty fun for y'all to see. But other than that, I don't plan on doing a Kickstarter too often from there. So yeah, Kickstarter is one I'm going to kind of limit and minimize. But y'all came to see me talk about Lionheart. So Lionheart, for those of you who haven't seen or who are unaware, Lionheart is a story that's going to focus on Maria Costas as an orphan. And for those of you who got to read the early okay, perfect. So right now is going to be issue 1, and then after that is going to be a graphic novel, and I plan on doing that for each of the comics I'm going to release for each of the characters. So that's something that you can expect going forward, because one thing I found just in my own personal life, that I prefer reading the full story. I struggle a little bit, or I'm not as much of a fan of reading the individual comics. So I will typically buy just the full graphic novel instead of just the individual issues, unless I'm in a situation where like I'm following something issue by issue. But overall, I'll try to buy the graphic novels. So that's the same thing I plan on doing with all of my characters. That's going to start 2025. So starting 2025, I will release a graphic novel, either 2 a year, or it'll probably be 1 a year. Depends on like, 1, what money looks like, and then 2, what the situation looks like in regards to getting the art done. So I'm already working on that. So y'all can definitely expect to see that coming really soon. Back to it though, the Kickstarter, or the story of Lionheart, is, like I said, it's going to really focus on Maria as the main character that she is. She's going to be an orphan, and many of you who read it saw what happened at the beginning of the story. That's going to be kind of like the catalyst for her entire story arc. and it's going to be something I'm going to deep dive into really heavy coming into the second and third issues of this series. So with that, she gets adopted and she starts to really have a rough time in the orphanage that she's in. Eventually, she's adopted by the trainer Travis. He adopts her, and he's a ex MMA fighter himself, who now trains people to be MMA fighters, and it's interesting to see their dynamic. And later in the series, you're going to see more of like how that looks and what that dynamic is in regards to how it shapes her into becoming the hero she's going to become. So I'm really excited for how that's going to pan out and how that's set to go. But towards the end of the story is where we really get to see the jumping off point. The point of how in every superhero or every movie you see is, okay, this happens, this really sets them to that point of, okay, I have to decide on what I'm going to do. And so once we get to that point, that's when it really starts to really kick off. And the story is going to be pretty fast paced, going from issue 2 through issue 6. And so the way that is going to break down is for the first 6 issues will be its own graphic novel. That graphic novel will be released in its entirety through my own website that I'm going to launch, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later because that's exciting. But I'm going to launch the graphic novel through my website specifically, and there's going to be like different things I'm going to do before that comes out. And issues 2 through 6, along with issue 1, will be packaged together, and you'll see like the progression of Maria from where she is at the end of issue 1 to the point where she's at the end of issue 6, where it's like, okay, we have to see where this actually ends, because the ending of the entire story arc, which is her rise to vengeance, or rising with vengeance, as the title says, is one of those where when you see how the vengeance comes about, is going to be kind of mind-blowing. So I'm really excited for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this story unfolds and how people receive it, because it's going to be one of those things where if you understand the theme that I'm going for, this whole story is going to focus on family. And it's funny because like people are going to be like, oh, this is like a Fast and Furious type thing. But no, like it's going to be about family in a way where you don't really think about it, because she's a Mexican American, and most people that know anyone from the Latin community, whether it be Mexicans, whether it be Puerto Ricans or Peruvians, any of those groups of people, family is very important to them. And so with that being said, like Maria losing her biological family to this cartel on her birthday, and then coming back and like almost 20 years later, well, it was more like 16 or so years later, losing her last living person to this same cartel, is gut-wrenching. And so you're going to see why I call it the rising with vengeance as the story progresses, because it's going to be so, it's like I said, it's going to be so action heavy going into the later issues, and it's going to be so enthralling. But I say all that to say, like, not only will it focus on like just Maria and her attempts to get revenge and to become this staple of Vengeance, but you're also going to see some more UFC or MMA type fighting in that as well, which is going to be pretty cool because as I was like working on this first one, I was like, I really want to show MMA fights. I really want to kind of put that in there. But then, like, as I began thinking about the story, and then I started watching more UFC personally to try to get more understanding, it's like I think I need to really show how deep this can get. So putting that in there in some of the books is going to be a nice little treat for those of you who enjoy a good MMA fight. So that's something you can definitely look forward to as well. Before I go further, I have to mention that like this whole story of Lionheart really couldn't have come together without having the art team that I had. Harrison Prime and Cosmic Land Studios really did a really good job with the book. My friend Vicart did some character designs and covers for the book as well, so I'm really thankful for him. But I have to thank also my friend Stephen Duffy. He was the editor for the story for this. He also really rewrote most of the story based off of what I had sent him and created the story that I was seeing but didn't know how to put to paper. So I thank him for giving me that assistance, but also like really showing me, okay, this is where I can go and how I can go further from there. So thanks to everyone who really helped work on that book with me and make it a reality. There's no specific time period that is set in. It's set during present day. So the initial part of the story, the first few pages is set in the past. We're going to see, Maria as a child and see her grow up through school and things like that for a little bit, and then it'll get to current day. So no specific time period initially, but it'll eventually get to present day as we go through the story a little bit further. So now the Kickstarter specifically, because I know a lot of y'all are excited for that. I'm excited for it. One thing I can say is I've been running some tests. I've been doing a lot of different things to kind of see like essentially the time frame in regards to how it will work with getting some of these rewards. So the plan and the goal to have the physical copies ready, as many as possible. So I plan on getting the first 30 or 40 books printed, each in the different covers. So when you go on once the Kickstarter goes live, you can go in there, you can back it, and you'll get the option to, once the Kickstarter completes, to choose which cover you want. Any one of those 3 covers that I've been sharing on social media will be available, so you can get it, any one of those. And that's going to be exciting because like I mentioned in the post, as I've mentioned multiple times on social media, the first 30 backers will get the comic signed with whatever cover that they want. So if you chose, the cover with Maria in the ring by herself, you'll get that signed. Or if you got the cover where you see Maria's head at the top, you see Travis's head just below that, and then at the bottom you see the head of the man in silver, which is what we're going to call him, because I'm not going to give away his story yet. His story is going to be interesting, and we're going to see a lot more of that going through issue 3 through 6. But if any one of those covers, I will personally sign it and then ship it out to you within a couple of weeks. Or honestly, the plan is to have everything done within like the first week or 2 of the Kickstarter going live or completing, so that you all can get the books quickly. Now, after that, anyone else who back the Kickstarter after the fact or after that first 30, you'll get your issue of or your copy of the book pretty quickly. But it won't be signed just because it's going to be shipped directly from the printer. It's not going to be shipped from me. Unless I have extra copies left over, then I will. But yeah, that's the goal for the comic. So that's something that you can expect to have pretty quickly. I'm also going to include a Lionheart sticker along with that you can put on anything that you want. Many of you may have seen it, but if not, you can just check the Kickstarter once it goes live, and you'll see the sticker that you'll receive with that. That's going to go with any book that you back. So, like I said, first 30 backers, y'all are going to get a really good prize. And if we hit that goal within that, that time frame for the Kickstarter, like it's going to be something that I think I may try to do more. So we'll see what happens with the Kickstarter. I'm pretty excited about it. But yeah, first 30 backers, you get the signed comic. You also get the sticker. Everyone who backs the physical copy and up, you'll get to choose what cover you want. So, you'll have whatever choice. And then some of the things I think will be interesting is I have a poster that people can get. It looks really nice. I also have a hoodie because I realized, hey, it's getting cold. There's a lot of people that may need some winter wear. And I'm thinking why not get a hoodie included with that? Plus, I think it really fits the whole MMA theme. Most of them come out in hoodies anyway. So I'm like, okay, that fits. So that's something that I plan on also having in the Kickstarter where you once you back a certain level, you can get the hoodie with that. So there's 5 or 6 different levels on the Kickstarter that you can back where you can get certain things. And each level, you essentially get the level before plus maybe 1 or 2 extra things. So it's going to be really cool, really exciting. And everyone who backs the Kickstarter will have their name put in the comic. In the back of the comic, you'll get a thank you page for all of you backing it and everything. So that's something that you can expect as well. And again, even if we don't get funded, everyone who signed up and pledged to back the Kickstarter, you'll get that recognition in the back as well. So whether we meet goal or not, honestly, everything is irrelevant because you'll still be able to get the book some way. And I may even do something special for the people who back the Kickstarter and it doesn't get funded. But we'll see on that. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about with the Kickstarter? Y'all have any questions? I know a lot of people tend to not really understand what Kickstarter is or how it operates. If y'all have any questions about how Kickstarter operates or what to expect, let me know. I will definitely go over that if y'all have any questions about it. The hoodies have every size, from small up to, I want to say 3 or 4X. Yeah. Now with the hoodies, I'll say that those will take a little bit longer to ship out. So once the Kickstarter is completed, I'm going to process the orders for the hoodies pretty quickly. I'm thinking that those usually take about 2 to 3 weeks to ship out. So if let's say we get funded and the hoodie and 7 or 8 people get the tier where the hoodie is at, the Kickstarter will end on the 15th. Come the 15th of November. So come, let's say the 30th of November. That's should be around 2 weeks or so after the Kickstarter has ended, is when I will process the order for it. And you can expect to have the hoodies maybe around mid to late December. All right, so I'm looking at the calendar right now. Kickstarter will end on the 15th, which is literally the middle of the week, in the middle of the month. So probably around December 1st is when I will try to process orders and stuff and ship out the hoodies and the comics and all that stuff. So that's the plan. But like Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until you get hit in the mouth. So we'll see what happens when I get hit in the mouth. But yeah, if y'all have any questions, just keep dropping them in here, and I will try to answer them as best as possible. What else do I need to talk about? Oh, with this book, for those of you who, all right, so let's go with the assumption that the book doesn't get fully funded on Kickstarter, and you still want to get the book. I will have a website that I will launch around the end of the Kickstarter time frame, depending on like where we look. If we're like at 80-90% funded, then I may wait a little bit, because what's going to happen is the website has all of the same items from the Kickstarter on it. All right. Oh, I want you to elaborate on your question real quick. What do you mean? Are you meaning like how long does it take for me to like build out from beginning to end, like each of the tiers, the story, all that? Or are you saying like how long does it take for the Kickstarter to go from not funded to fully funded? If you can elaborate on that, I'll answer that in detail for you. But yeah, I plan on launching the website probably. So I'm thinking once we get to like November 2nd or 5th, between that time frame, I'll take a look and see what the Kickstarter looks like. If we're at like 70-80% funded around that time, then I probably won't launch the website. But if I'm under 50%, I'll probably launch the website and let everyone know like what that's about. And with that, like you can go on there and you can purchase any the comic with any variation of the cover. Which, if you want to, I think my friend Mark had asked, is it possible to get all three through the Kickstarter? No, but if you want to like purchase them all on the website, you could do that. I also, if y'all know of any comic book shops in your area or any Comic Cons in your area, send them my way, because I'm trying to get a list of all that information. So by the time I'm ready to go to Comic Cons next year, I can have a list of places where I can like try to apply to and try to get the comics at that spot too, because the plan is next year. The plan is next year to go to anywhere between 2 and 3 Comic Cons. I'm sorry, between 2 and 3 Comic Cons next year, and try to just build the name of Divergent Comics. How long for each tier to build up? Do you have a specific time frame? So the entire Kickstarter is set to last for 30 days. Have like, all right, so for example, I'll go over the tiers in relative detail. So give me one moment, let me pull that up. But we'll start with the first tier, which is I call it the welterweight tier, or I'm sorry, the flyweight tier. That is the digital tier. That's where you get to see, you just get the digital comic. You can also always like back the Kickstarter without getting a reward. Very few people do that, but you can do that. But yeah, there's the flyweight tier, which just gives you the digital comic. With those, everyone who backs for the digital comic, as long as your email is on your profile under Kickstarter, you'll get your digital comic within a couple of days, honestly, of having the Kickstarter funded. And honestly, you know what? Now that I say that, what I will do, I will everyone who backs the Kickstarter will get a complimentary version of the Lionheart comic through their email to download. You'll get that PDF download. So that's what I'm gonna do. That is the plan. St. Louis. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, like for me. Bro, like okay, I'm just gonna do it on Facebook. Forget it. All right, let's see if we can draw this again. Come on now. Come on. There we go. I don't have anything open. Okay. There we go. Tis better. There we go. Unfortunately, I can't be on YouTube. That stinks. All right, if anyone was in the previous stream on YouTube or on Twitch, I highly apologize. Hey, I appreciate you, Mike. I truly appreciate you, bro. Yeah. I know. I'm trying to lower the frame rate. Like I said in the last one, you would think that I'd be able to, I'd be better when it comes to uh, technology, seeing as how I work in technology, in the tech field. But hey, we are here. If y'all have questions while I'm trying to fix this, y'all can go ahead and drop them in the chat, and I will try to answer them. This is going to be just my way of just answering questions you may have about the Lionheart Kickstarter, about the Lionheart comic, without giving away any spoilers, of course. Yes, I know. I'm trying to lower the frame rate. Oh well. If y'all see a bad quality, I apologize. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Um, Looks like we got a few people in here. No, I got rid of Spectrum. They pissed me off a little, one too many times, unfortunately. It was honestly just the. I feel like it was the software I was using. I was trying to use a new software. I didn't want to go back to StreamYard, but yeah, don't use new software because yeah. In other news, Lionheart. It is a story that I will say I've been working on for 2 years, and it was weird. I think I was talking to David about this, and when I was I was talking to Anissa about this because she was asking like, how did I come up with the story? Where did it come from? All that. I was just like, honestly, what was it on? I was watching. No, I was reading a either Batman or Green Arrow comic. And I was like, okay, this will be dope. I think I like this story. I think I was reading Green Arrow Rebirth is what I was reading. And then I started thinking like of different, scenarios and characters that could come into play with working on the same type of scenario or story that they do with Green Arrow. But I was like, how can I make it different? So I started looking into, different ideas and things like that. And one thing I came up with was an MMA fighter. And my friend Joe, he told me about this guy who I think he lived in Washington State. He was an MMA fighter, and he started dressing up as a superhero, his own superhero, and going around trying to help stop crimes and stuff. It was pretty funny, but pretty cool at the same time. And that had me think, like, what if that was their story? What if they were an MMA fighter and became a superhero, started protecting their city? Well, in the time that it took for me to come up with that, I also, started playing with some other ideas because we see the generic, he knows how to fight, this, that, and third. But I wanted to make it different. I wanted to make it unique. And so, something was in my mouth. But what I wanted to do was do something where you don't see the person or the personality as often. So that's how I came up with the character of Maria. She came about from just like deep diving and trying to find ways to make this story unique. And her backstory and like where she came from in regards to like going from being this happy-go-lucky little girl to be eventually becoming the angry fighter that she's going to become just stemmed from like doing my own deep dive into how I can make this character intriguing. In the last live that got disrupted thanks to technology, this isn't working because crap. All right, I'm gonna redo this. I got a better way to do this. Come on, bro. What is up?